All right, let's talk about dog and cat food next. So in the chat, will you please share what food you're feeding and also share what protein it is? So is it beef, chicken, turkey? Share that in the chat with us so we can chat with you about it. So we believe that our dog and cat food seriously is a better way. We actually have this 20 reasons why, and you'll see that on our website. You'll see it on all of our bags of food, and you'll hear it from every single pet pro that you meet. Everything is customized when you fill out that pet profile. We are natural and holistic. We have real meat, poultry, or fish as our first ingredient. It's all high quality protein made here in the US. Antioxidant rich, and that helps your immune system. Has prebiotics, has taurine, which is extremely important for heart health. It also is important for grain-free food. So if you have heard around the pet industry about the concerns of grain-free food, the ingredient that seems to be missing in those grain-free foods are taurine. We add taurine into all of our foods, in our healthy grain and in our grain-free food, and we have not had any problems with heart problems with our food to date. We also have omega-3s and omega-6 that helps with your healthy skin and coat. DHA, which helps brain. It actually is formulated to reduce stool volume, and that is because of the digestibility of the food. I can get into more detail of that if you would like to have a conversation one-on-one, but we have a very high digestibility, and we're very nutritionally dense. We also have glucosamine, which is great for joint health, calcium and phosphorus. Everything at Paw Tree is developed by vets and nutritionalists, and everything is made in the US, which is all very fantastic. So first off, we're going to cover our cat food. Hopefully, there we go. Okay, so I just wanted to share a couple testimonials here, and if you have cats, will you mention in the chat that throw up your hand that you have cats, and if you haven't already, shared with us what cat food you are eating. But in both of these, the cats have greatly improved their overall health, and it is simply just because of the nutrition and because of the food that they're eating. So we have different cat foods and dog foods. I'm going to go over each one of the recipes, and you'll see and notice in the slides that some are grain-free and the other ones are healthy grained. So grain-free means that there's obviously no grains, but we do have the added taurine for heart health. The healthy grains means that there's no corn, no wheat, no soy, but we do have things like oatmeal and rice. And in those recipes, we also have added taurine for heart health in them as well. So let's run through our cat recipes first. First off is salmon and potato, and this is grain-free. Turkey and oatmeal, this does have healthy grains. Whitefish and brown rice is also healthy grain. Chicken and potato is grain-free. Chicken is grain-free. And then we move into our wet foods. All of our wet foods are grain-free, and most of the wet foods that you buy at the grocery store are grain-free as well. Wet food is really important for cats because cats do not naturally drink water. So if you are not already feeding your cat wet food, it is really important to start. They get moisture from their food, and our wet foods that we feed to our cats has a very high percentage of moisture. So our cat food moisture for the soft foods is between 78 and 82%, which is really huge for cats. So this first one is, the other thing I'll mention about wet cat food is we have two different textures, pate and morsels. We all know cats are very finicky. Mine are as well. Some like pate, some like morsels. My cats do not like pate. They will only eat morsels. So based on what texture your cats are is how you can also look at our food. So the first one is chicken and turkey pate. Then we have turkey and chicken in morsels, salmon and ocean fish in pate, whitefish, salmon, and herring in morsels. And that's all of our cat food. Let's run into our dog food as well. And the same concept goes for our dog food as it did for our cat food. We have grain-free and we have healthy grain. We do not have wet food for our dogs. And the reason is because they do drink water, but also they can be very high in calories. And we want to be mindful of the weight of our pets. So for dogs, if you do have a dog that is used to wet food, what you can do is take our kibble and take our seasonings and add a little moisture to it and mix it up like water, and mix it up, and it will soften and be an appropriate calorie for them at the same time. So I have a couple dog food testimonials on here. I like the doodle. I'm assuming it's some sort of doodle on here because that actually reminds me a lot of Jovi, my golden doodle. And it's so very true, everything that she mentioned. One other thing I'll mention about our testimonials is they are all on our website. So please go to the website if you want to research a certain product or a certain health condition, and you'll see what other customers are saying as well. Okay, so let's run through all of our dog food flavors and recipes. First up is turkey and sweet potato, and this is grain-free. Salmon, peas, and sweet potato, grain-free. Chicken and sweet potato, which is grain-free. Turkey and garbanzo beans, which is also grain-free. Duck and chickpeas, grain-free. Trout, sweet peas, and lentils, grain-free again. Lamb, chickpeas, and lentils, grain-free. This is the one actually that I feed my dogs. However, I actually blend their food. So I do 1 bag of lamb, chickpeas, and lentils, and I do another bag of turkey, and I think it's oatmeal. I'll have to take a look. But I mix those two up and put them and give that to them throughout the month. Chicken and oatmeal, this is healthy grain. Chicken and brown rice is healthy grain. Whitefish and brown rice, healthy grain. Turkey and brown rice, this is the one I mix in, healthy grain. Trout and barley, healthy grain. Okay, so just one other thing that I'd like to mention about our food, and that I somewhat mentioned it in the beginning, but that's the high digestibility and high nutrition, very nutritionally dense. What that means is not only less poop, like I mentioned, but it also will mean that you will feed less quantity. So for example, my dogs, 2 dogs, I used to go between 30 and 40 pounds of dog food a month, and now I'm right around 20 pounds of dog food a month. And that's what you'll be able to find is inside of the pet profile. You will see exactly the quantity of food that you should feed for your dog or cat, and that will help to also let you know how much it would cost per month or actually even per day inside of the pet profile. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, please comment in the chat what food you're using, and the next video will be starting in about 30 seconds.